Hey friends, I'm doing another 11 p.m. What time it is? Oh, it's 11:25. Even better. Okay, I'm doing a thrift haul at this hour because this is when my house is quiet. This is when everybody has gone to bed and the hubbub of the day has passed, and I've put off this haul for a few days because it's so very special. It's so special, and I'm so excited to share these things with you. I have no idea what that dog just did, but I hear her crunching tortilla chips. Okay, she knocked something over which caused a tortilla chip to fall. Let me just make sure. She's not eating an entire... What'd you do? Really? You knocked the bowl off the counter. Did you eat with it? You didn't spank it? Okay. So I'm back. Dog. We had a big wooden bowl of tortilla chips from our local restaurant, Ruby's Mexican, that we love. And there was about 2 chips left in the bowl, and my tall doggy, who needs better training, I'm just too tired to be mean, to be strict. That's terrible, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't do that to a human, but for a dog, I guess I'm too tired to be strict. Okay, but I wanted to share my latest, best stuff with you. Okay, these are from Home Place in Gunnersville, and every Friday and Saturday the entire store is half price, with a few exceptions. If it is not included in the half price sale, it will say not included. You know, they'll have that written on the item. So I always check up front for their pretty little linens. They've got a specific table that old-timey things. Isn't that gorgeous? And it was 50 cents, so I paid 25 cents. Love, love, love. And another little hanky. This one was 25 cents, so I paid 12.5 cents. Save the antiques. Bring them to me. Does that say $4? So I paid $2. Haven't even opened it yet. Have no living idea what the inside would be like. Let's see. And I can't get my glasses on quickly, can I? It is most assuredly some kind of silver plate. I don't know. But you know, I'm just crazy about that look. That crest embossing look. Ooh. Ooh, it's blue velvet in there. Oh, I shall treasure it for the rest of my life. Oh. See, I tell you, when I put off you know, doing the thrift haul, I don't take it out of the bags or anything. I just simply hang on to these things until I can share them with all of you. And if that's several days, it's like I get to see it for the first time all over again. Oh, how crazy I am. And I have no idea what this little thing is. Miniature Stein, very pottery looking. It says 2, so I paid 1. I don't know what this emblem is. It's got just the least little bit of smudging. So I don't know. Is this old? Is it a souvenir category of something? I'll look it up. Maybe I'll have a little insert pop up on the screen by the time I edit this. Now this. Says 9, but I paid $4.50, and the reason I was willing to is because I've never seen another one in the wild. Excuse me, I have black paint on my fingertips. It is paint. It's that highly pigmented black paint, black acrylic paint. That stuff's serious. Okay, so it's a sifter, obviously, and it's quite old. I would say, what is this, 40s or 50s, 1950s? Michigan City something, 5-cup sifter. It's a whopper. Bromwell's. That just looks adorable. And obviously this needs to go on my shelves in the kitchen with all my other vintage things. It's got, instead of wood, it's a little plasticky handle. So I'm guessing 1950s. You think? 60s? I don't know. Hard to say. Love it. Okay. Now, it's hard for me to pass up a quilt of any kind. And this is a baby quilt, which was marked 8, but I paid 4. And look how sweet it is. It's a soft pink. And it's just so precious. How could anybody let this go to donation? I don't understand. I don't understand how people can let precious things go. I don't know. I'm just in that frame of mind of how could anybody let something like this go because of the thing that I found. I'm saving it till last. I'm just gonna keep you cliff hung. It's a cliffhanger in the past tense. I'm going to keep you cliff hung till it comes around, because it may be the most wonderful thing I've ever found thrifting. The most wonderful, amazing. Okay, and I've said that before. The milk stool, you know, the milk stool that I got for like $3 or $4. What did I pay for it? It was so little I can't even remember. But the old wooden milk stool, love that. And that was very little, and I loved it. Very little cost, I'm saying. Okay, this is just a nice, good shower curtain, and it says 5, so I paid $2.50. And you know, I think I saw Cynthia Rowley name brand on this. By the way, if you don't know, the showers in my house, I like to change my shower cap curtains very frequently. I just, it feels like you redecorate. You know, you need to take them down, even though we have a plastic liner inside, and we replace the plastic liner, you know, whenever it needs replacing. You know, you need to wash your shower curtains pretty frequently anyway. So if you're going to take it down, you might as well switch it out for something else gorgeous, right? Okay. It's a burlap coffee sack. And it was marked 8, so I paid 4, but it's rather enormous. It's rather huge. It's at least 4 feet by 3 feet. 2 feet. Really close to the camera this time, but that's because in a minute you're gonna want to see the closeness. And I don't believe I've ever filmed from this angle. I'm in my living room on the love seat where I sit next to Ben's recliner, and the dining room and French doors and all that is behind me. And I don't think I've ever shown you this angle of my home. Okay, next. I've got a couple items in here that are thrown in from another thrift store. Yeah, but then we'll go back to the Home Place thrift store for the grand finale. That I did pay $4, and this was at Shepherd's Cove Hospice. Hey, you can't move my tripod. Crazy. This dog is being a real big distraction tonight. You need to stop it. Get over there and take a nap like you normally do. Okay, I'm thinking I've got a few now. I've gathered up a few really pretty vintage landscapes. And, you know, some are prints, some are like lithograph printed onto cardboard. I mean, that's still a print. And a couple of them are actual paintings. But I've decided that above my big couch over there where I've got the praying grandfather, I'm about to do, I'm going to see if I can, I'll have to lay it out on the floor and see how I can work them all together. But the next thing I do over there, I'm going to put them all together. I think I am. You know, sometimes I have all these great plans, and then I get so busy and I never do it. But I am doing that. I'm doing that. And today, I had about 2 seconds to run in, and I don't care for that. But look, get a load of this gorgeous. That's wider than my hand. Look how good it is. Can you tell how big it is? It's hard to tell. Okay. I got it for the frame, and I have an idea. Watch my upcoming, not the thrift flip one that's probably coming out tomorrow. I don't know. Today's Monday. Tuesday, you're going to see 10 new thrift flips, and then maybe about Wednesday. Maybe about Wednesday, I'll have this video out. Or Thursday. Who knows? I can hardly say what's going to happen from 1 hour to the next in my life, much less plan out the whole week. I'm just not that kind of planner. Okay. I already have several little, these come from Walmart. I think they're Pioneer Woman, but it was marked $1 and it would have been, this came from Shepherd's Cove. It would have been $1, but because I already have several and I do enjoy using it, I had them sitting out sort of like placemats for a little while in the fall, but normally placemats just don't work at my house just because there's too many humans. It's too difficult. Okay, what did I pay for this thing? $4. Now, I have not painted any kind of mantle clock before. Look at it. It's electronic works attached to a chimer, so I haven't even put a battery in to see what's going to happen there. But $4 for real. It's truly hardwood. It's very nice, and this might be a candidate for me to paint and do a shabby chic or cottage core or granny chic or just the Marla treatment. Because I love painting things. I just love painting things. I can't leave well enough alone. I have to paint things. Okay. This was just little Jenga blocks that ended up being 50 cents. And I'm pretty sure you could probably get something comparative. I don't think they're actually Jenga. But because I do lots of little wood crafts, these are handy to have for when I'm putting together my crafts and my different things. Okay. Never, but this is not the finale. I'm sorry, I'm getting your hopes up, aren't I? But this was important. This was exciting to me. Come here, Ella. Are you really just gonna hang around right there? You need a diversion, because you're being a diversion. Okay. I've never found so many antique books, like truly old antique books. And I got to put my glasses on for this because, for real, some of these are from the 1800s. And they were at the thrift store. At the thrift store. Never do I find. Okay, now this one I think was just a regular $1, which on half price day would have been 50 cents. And it just says Thoroughfare, Christopher Morley. And I'm not going to bore everyone by making you wait till I look and see 1942. But you know, they're all, this is one of the newer ones, 1942. And I've probably got a dozen here. And I will try to not make it last everlasting, forevermore. Well, what happened to the rest? Okay. This one, Winged Moccasins. And it is the story of Sacagawea. And I cannot wait to read a little bit from Duggar Books, Gadsden, Alabama. If this is the story of Sacagawea that my 4th grade teacher read to us. I'm going to lay down on the floor and cry, because as a child, I loved to read and I loved to be read to. And my 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Bridges, she read to us the story of Sacagawea, and I feel like this could be the one. I'll know it. I'll know it. And it was the kind of thing, it was so exciting because, you know, she'd read like a chapter a day, and, you know, you could hear a pin drop in that room. Even the rowdy kids, when she would read Sacagawea, we were just like riveted, like we didn't want to miss a detail, not one detail about it. And then we just felt like we were just sitting on the edge of our seat. And then it just was like a tragedy to have to wait till the next day to find out what happened next. That excitement, how can you deal with such excitement? Okay, this might have been a regular. Lay them straight, and I don't think that's as old as some of the others. I think it's the 1940s or 50s. But see, these are all linen. Let me get you closer. Let me get you closer. Look at the linen. Linen. I love the linen, cloth bound. That's just the most gorgeous. And when you stack them together as risers, as decor, I'm trying to imagine. I guess because today is Valentine's Day, I'm going to set aside my Valentine Day thing over there on the buffet, and I'm going to maybe do something that features books. Boy, they smell like they've been in the barn and loft. I know it's not a barn and loft. My little brother Heath and I played in the barn loft, and as little bitty children, somehow, I don't know if it was me or him, but one of us mispronounced it barn and loft, barn in loft, I don't know. But the barn and loft smelled just like this. And that's taken me straight back to the barn and loft. Okay. Bringing tears to my eyes. 19. Does it say 56 or 36? I can't tell the sticker. But it's a children's book. Look, that's sweet. And this one, 1947. I think that says 36. But the handwriting's very sloppy. That's adorable. The Alice and Jerry books. And they're illustrated. Oh my goodness. Barn and loft. Okay, I'm just getting big whiffs of it. But I've not taken them out of the box since I purchased these. And I did pay, no. If it doesn't say not included in half price sale, then I paid half of whatever these stickers. If it doesn't have a sticker at all, it was $1, normally 50 cents on Friday and Saturday. If it has a sticker with a price on it, it is priced a little higher than their regular hardback books. But if it doesn't say not included, then I paid half. $1.50 each. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I forgot about this one. 1935. It's a school book. It's a primer. Primer? I don't know. From Jefferson County, Alabama. I could faint. I feel just a little bit faint right now. I do. I do. I probably won't go to bed tonight. I'll probably just be looking at the books and smelling of the barn and loft. Okay. Okay. 1869. $5. My chin's quivering. I'm ridiculous. Look. This is by far the oldest book that I have ever found in the wild. And I have no idea what it means by Comrades series. But it used to not be a word that necessarily meant communism, I don't think. I think it meant friend. It's you know, of European origin. Oh my word. Look how big the margins are. A lot of wasted space in there, isn't there? These days they print it right up to the very edge. Oh my heavens. And that's very fragile. It's coming apart. But you're safe in my house, maybe. It'll be safe if I put it somewhere safe. Not safe if I let some kind of animal get next to it. Okay, 1928. Oh my word. The children's books. The treasure box. This is also a Jefferson County, Alabama. I just happened to see this phrase. American children think the Chinese language is queer and difficult. Okay, that is written as if no current connotation of any words were meant by that. Oh my stars. This is the best. This is, okay, I've got like 6 more. Okay, this must have been $1, but half of that, and I don't know what the date is on this one. I'm so sorry that I cannot resist but to turn the little pages. 1956. Okay, but linen. Every one of these is fabulous in its own way. I was so shocked when I was seeing these. They were in the book section, but kind of over to the side. And I was just like, I was seeing another after another after another. And I was just, my heart was just gripped up in my chest. And I was like, I can't believe all these are here. And I was just like barely looking at the price. I was like, whatever that price is, it's going to be half of that. And because there's no sticker that says not included in the half price sale. And my heart was just racing. And I was thinking, calm down. There's nobody coming along to snatch these out from under you. They're going in your buggy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Elementary spelling book from 1908. And this one doesn't smell as strongly as some of the others. Oh my word. Poor children in 1908. What grade is this for? I can't tell, but I don't think I could spell those words. Look at there. That's way too hard to spell, and I have green paint on my little nail wrap. You know, chalk paint just sticks to all kinds of surfaces. By the way, I've decided that I'm probably never going to paint my fingernails again with regular fingernail polish because, I don't know, I'm too rough on my hands, and nail polish chips off in one day. I don't care what brand, if it's a $10 bottle of polish or a $1 bottle of polish, it lasts about the same amount of time on my hands. But nail wraps, they stick on forevermore. This is the best. And these are not even, I don't even have any of the little boutique brands. These just came from Dollar General and were maybe $3 a pack. But I'll be able to do my nails about 2 full, maybe 3 times out of the $3 pack. And some Dollar Trees, not every Dollar Tree, but some Dollar Trees have had some little packages, like the little floral ones that I've had on in recent videos. You've been able to see. But they stick. They don't come off. And they don't chip. And they're actually protecting my fingernail. My fingernails are growing. I have little boy hands. I never have long fingernails. Okay, back to the books. What is this? Webster Reader from 1932. Easy New Stories. What? It's kind of hard. This one's really dark colored and wonderful. Oh, it's got, look at what happened around the tape. Oh, I didn't know that tape would do that. Oh, there's lots of tape. Lots of discoloration under the tape. You know, there's a page that's entirely missing. This tells me Look at the word list in the back. Little children, through the years, through the generations, little children, their hands were on this same book. And they probably took it somewhere. Look at all the little dog-eared pages. What in the world? They took it and read books before there was TV. Was 1908 before? Well, no, this was 1932. I guess they had radio at that time. But they didn't have computers and video games and extensive entertainment. This was their computer and their video games and their television and their movie theater, probably. This. No wonder they're dog-eared and old. Yet another, 1928. Friends to make. Oh, that one's just lovely. Oh, and there's some names written in. I just think that's so interesting. Oh, word, I may not go to bed till tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Ooh, 1897. Oh, 1897. Baldwin's Readers. I like this little size. Ooh, look at that, the deterioration. What might have caused that? Well, I don't know, but it's over 100 years old, so any number of calamities could have befallen. Oh. And here's someone, Thomas Cayley, Montgomery, Alabama, 1906, in the most neat cursive handwriting. Oh, this one smells like the Barn and Loft. I hope there's not any little 1897 creatures in here. Please let there not be, in Jesus' name. No bad creatures coming out of there. Okay, almost done. 1950. Oh, you're growing up. I'm definitely gonna see. I just glanced something that said your pituitary gland. Okay, this is a birds and bees book. This will be, yeah, very interesting reading from 1950. Let's see how they described the birds and the bees at that time. Okay. Is this the very oldest one? Is it? 1872? Now I've forgotten what the other, okay. The reason that I think this one, I saved it for last because I think it's just special because this is fabric that someone has stitched. Look at the thread. Someone has stitched it. This book is, it's a math book, arithmetic. Common school arithmetic. Okay. 1872. For all I know, Laura Ingalls Wilder could have used this book. For real. For real. Her hands could have been touching it. Okay, brief pause. I had a midnight visitor. Sam came upstairs for a little while. You know, Sam and Joel have what we call the downstairs wing. This house is, the basement is a daylight walkout basement. There's windows in every room, and you know, we're on a hill that goes down. So the guys, I try not to go down there, honestly. I just try to let them have it. Just, you know, that's your area. Just stay in your lane, I stay in mine. Because I get upset when I go down there. Because it's a mess. All right, now it's time. I went through all the books, and I did find, here are the ones that are the very oldest. 1869, 1872, 1897, and 1908. And then after that, the next closest one is the 1920s, I think. So, there they are. and I'm going to do something that will help me enjoy looking at them for quite some time. I will be glad. Now, Ella, you can't disturb this next item. You just can't, you can't interfere. You can't bump the tripod or anything like that, okay? All right. When I first saw this, I literally had tears well up in my eyes because, you know, I'm way emotional. I'm just way emotional. So I was wiping tears. I see the dog. Okay, that's our humor check. The dog just cannot. Okay. When I saw it and realized what it was, I thought, you know, I will never come across this again. It was not included in the half price sale, but I didn't care. I might have paid more than I did pay. I paid $30, which is high dollar for thrift shopping for something that's not furniture or, you know, useful. This is not useful, except that it ministers to my soul. Mary Elizabeth Cayley. This baby gown is approximately 100 years old, and it has a photograph of the baby wearing this gown right here. There are a few teensy-tiny little spots, but considering that it's over 100 years old, I want you to look at just look. This is the thinnest, softest fabric ever. Look at the little teeny tiny. At first, I thought, okay, this is all hand stitched. If it's hand stitched, it's the most perfect hand stitching I've ever seen. But 100 years ago, they did have sewing machines. They were just treadle, you know. I mean, they could have been electric, but I believe this must have been done on an old manual treadle type machine. Okay. Now this is so very special. And my heart just, you can see a little bit of spotting on that sleeve right there. Honestly, I don't care. And guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not putting this behind glass, and I understand. It is not good for it to be exposed to the air and to dust and all that. I understand that. But if it goes behind glass, it takes away my ability to connect with it. As if I need to connect with it. So I have a plan. Here's what I'm going to do. That's just so pretty. And the fact that it had the picture of the little girl. You know, this was at the same thrift store, the same day as these books. I feel like it all came from the same house. Some remaining descendant who did not care for preserving this family history, just let it go to donations. What kind of sacrilege was that? Well, okay, here's my plan. I have this fabulous, I believe it must have originally been a dresser mirror, because it's got these little spots that would have been, but it's what I did with this was for Lauren's wedding. There was the reason that you can see spots where it's been taped to is because we had an arched, my sister Lisa is a graphics artist, and she worked at a place that did these lovely things. I'll try to find a picture of it. It's just gorgeous. It had the menu of the wedding reception meal on here. And because this was the wedding of my son-in-law, who's a chef, we had fabulous, it was a fabulous meal. I'm telling you, it was delicious because he and his chef friends prepared awesomeness. That's beside the point. Okay, you see it's got this big gap in here. There's space. There's space between it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut either a thin piece of wood or probably cardboard would be fine. But I'm going to cut it out to this, it's a specific shape there. It's not just one straight up and over. It's got a little curve in there. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut and insert to that shape and put batting over it. And then I'm going to use this. This came from Hobby Lobby, and if y'all think I'm chatty on videos, well, I'm chatty in real life too. I had to tell the girl that worked in the fabric department at Hobby Lobby all about my fabulous 100-year-old, as if she was interested. But I mean, I don't think she actually was interested. Okay, so I hope this is enough. If it's not, I'll go back and get more. It's enough. Okay, I'm going to put batting over the insert, and then I'm going to put this over it, so it's going to have kind of a soft, poofy. It's going to have some depth to it. All right, so hang with me here while we're doing. Okay. So imagine that has batting behind it, and it's poofy, and this is just a really blush, precious, soft thing. Okay. This also came from Hobby Lobby. They happened to be half price, so I paid $3.50 maybe. No, less than that. It was $4.99, but it was half off, so I paid $2.50 for this. So I'm going to, this is wood. It's got a wood back on it. So I'm going to, after I get the insert put in there, in the batting, I'm going to mush that into, it and let it hang, let the little gown hang just in the open. And after a while, maybe I will put it behind glass if I feel like it's not going to hold up. Honestly, I feel like Jesus could return anytime now, so maybe it doesn't need to last another 100 years. And it is. The Bible says everything on this earth is like chaff that the wind blows away. All that we see will not last. Only our souls will last, and we need to make sure we know where we're going next, because we're all going somewhere next. So we need to be sure where we're going next. So I'm going to hang it, but not on a regular hanger. When I was texting my sister Lana about this, I said, help me think of some pretty ways to display this. So she said, don't put it on a hanger. Put it on something else that's not a hanger. So what I found was, maybe I can put this back here in the background. What I found was this little wood cutout that I'm going to probably do a very soft rose pink color onto it, and then probably a white wax over that. And I'm going to get some lace and just make a little hanging loop to hang it. Which way does it go? Like this. And I'll hang it like that. And this will be, instead of a hanger, I realized you could probably find somewhere, eBay, Etsy, somewhere, a vintage baby hanger. But I kind of love the idea of doing something very unique here. So I think that this would be an unexpected and sweet way to hang. Oh, you know, I can't spread that ribbon out too wide. Maybe I better hang it this way. I don't know. We'd have that peeping out just a little bit. I do want it to be preserved, and I do want it to not get ruined. And I will have this up somewhere, probably above my piano, on top of my piano. But, you know, that's so precious. You'll see in a future video when I get this done. And the gown is probably longer. I feel sure it's longer than the length of this thing. But because I'm going to stand it up on top of my piano, most likely, I will just let it kind of, you know, softly go to one side. And I will nestle in some other sweet little things. I have a pair of baby shoes that are very vintage and antique that I can pair with this. And maybe I could be on the lookout for something like a very vintage little baby rattle or something. You know, I love babies. I've had 5 myself, and there are 3 more in heaven that I will meet someday. I have an amazing testimony of healing. Doctors did not believe that I would ever be able to have a baby. Well, we didn't know this in the beginning. You got a minute? I could just tell you this. Okay, Ben and I married in '88, and by 1990, I had a miscarriage. But there was no history of miscarriage. Not my mother. My daddy has 5 sisters that I know of. None of his sisters had a miscarriage. So it was a little big surprise. I mean, I have sisters, you know, this was not something that I was expecting to be an issue for me. So it was very sad. But I was like, okay, well, you know, I guess this happens sometime. But I had a feeling of peace that God would allow me to have a baby. I just wanted a baby so badly. A baby was the prayer. Well, got pregnant the second time. First time I miscarried, I carried that baby 12 weeks. The second time, I carried that baby 4 months. And that one was probably the worst grief, because I had already felt that baby kick. And we didn't know what was wrong. My doctors didn't know what was wrong. Nobody understood anything. But at the time, I had been seeing a doctor in Birmingham, but I ended up finding a doctor in Huntsville because Ben was working in Huntsville at that time. He had just graduated from Auburn and was working in Huntsville as an engineer. And so I just found, instead of going south from where we live to the doctor, I just decided to go in the direction that Ben, you know, that seemed like we needed to be going north. So found a doctor in Huntsville, and he was just fresh out of medical school and residency, and he knew something that some of the older doctors had not heard yet, I guess, because it had not been suggested to me by anyone else before I met this brand new doctor who said, I think you should take a baby aspirin every day. I think that would help. I think that would be something good for you to do. So I did. But when I was 12 weeks, the third time I got pregnant, now between the second and third pregnancy is when I changed doctors. That third pregnancy was Lauren. But when I was about 3 months along, it was first trimester, pregnant with Lauren, my oldest, my firstborn. I thought I was having a miscarriage again. I mean, I recognized it at this point. And I was just praying so hard. I was like, please don't let that be it. Please don't let it be a miscarriage again. I think that's what's happening, but I pray not. I happened to be at work in Huntsville. Drove myself to the doctor. And when I got to the office, go up to the window, and I said, I need to see Dr. Tillman. And she said, okay, well, you'll have to see, because we don't just take walk-ins. I said, I'm having a miscarriage right this minute. I need to see Dr. Tillman. And she was like, okay. And so they took me back there, bless it. And the little ultrasound room was about the size of a little coat closet. It was tiny. And the ultrasound technician immediately doing an ultrasound, but we could see heartbeat. We could see a baby. And I was just like, praise God, praise God, praise God. And I was just so thankful. But then I was like, but wait, why am I bleeding so heavily. What's wrong? What's wrong? Well, she brought the doctor in, and then it was a group of doctors. So there were 3 doctors there that day, and all 3 of them were in there, plus a handful of nurses, and they were all looking at the screen, the ultrasound screen. And I kept asking, is the baby okay? We see a good heartbeat. We believe this baby is fine. But they kept looking over at the other side of the screen, and I was like, what in the world? What has happened? And I didn't know this was possible until it happened to me, but I have since learned and met some other people who this has happened to. But there was a twin that did not survive. And that was shocking because I didn't know it was pregnant twins. God's so good at redeeming. My Lauren is the one who has the twin babies. And there's really, I'm going to cry now. For reals. That Lauren having those twins redeems something to me. Very deep. But, okay, so, all this time my church family had been praying with me, and we had just been praying and believing that God would give me a baby. That was the prayer. Well, went on through the rest of the pregnancy with Lauren, and she was born, and it was wonderful, and we loved her, and it was precious, and our whole church family, we were just so happy. And then, despite nursing and birth control, if I did not get pregnant again immediately, Lauren would have been 7 months old. There's 16 months between Lauren and Mallory. I was nursing. You shouldn't technically be able to get pregnant while nursing. I did. But I was also on birth control. A birth control pill and nursing. Got pregnant anyway. So here comes Mallory, born 16 months later. And I'll be dadgum if I did not have Sam 16 months after Mallory. I swanny. We had 3 babies in 32 months, and this was despite nursing, birth control, good sense. I had no explanation for it. But I did say to our friends and church family who were praying for us, and of course my family, I just take that for granted that my family is praying. But I was like, y'all can ease off the throttle there on the praying. I believe we're good. 3 babies in 32 months. That was a lot of overwhelming. But I was so happy. I loved it. In fact, Ben always said he wished we had like 6 kids, and I was like, I'm promising you anything. Let's just take it one at a time and see. But after Sam was 3 years old, we thought, you know what? I guess God gave me a desire for one more child because Ben really wanted another baby. We had the 2 girls and a boy, so he just wanted another baby. It wasn't like we were trying to get a sex we didn't have yet, because we already had boy and girl. So we did plan Olivia. We did have Olivia. But do you know, when Olivia was about 2 or 3 months old, I got strep virus. I mean, I guess the kids had it too. I don't know. And I was terribly sick. And it took about 3 different doctors to figure out why all my joints, my elbows, ankles, knees, hips, why I was not able to walk without crying. Now here I had 3 tiny babies, 3 little toddlerish kids and a newborn baby, and I couldn't walk. We had to figure out what was wrong. Well, we finally found someone who knew the right kind of test to order, and I will never forget the day that I went back to that doctor to hear the results of my test. This doctor, clearly not a believer. I won't call his name. I don't even know where he is anymore. This has been a long time ago. It's been like 25 years ago. So he's got me in his office, not the exam room, but his office, and he's looking through my papers, and he's doing like this, and he's looking at me, and he's doing like this, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at the papers, And he said, it says here that you have 4 children, but these are adoptions? He's like, surely you adopted children. And I said, no, or I gave birth to all of these, or I would not have included it on my medical history, because that's what he was looking at, you know. He said, how premature were these babies? And I said, they were each about a week or 2 early, but not premature. He said, what was the extent of their heart disease? I said, extent of? They don't have heart disease. They're perfect. They don't have heart disease. He took his glasses off, and he's sitting there, and he's, you know, I can tell he's pondering this. He said, Ms. Cain, you have antiphospholipid syndrome, which is in the group of diseases with hemophilia, which means, you know, you bleed and you can't stop bleeding. He said, every pregnancy and childbirth was so dangerous for you. You could have died, or these babies could have died at any point during the previous 4 pregnancies. He said, you most certainly should not ever have another baby. Should not. In fact, your blood levels are concerning enough to me that I wouldn't even want you to have an elective surgery. He said, these diseases, when they're in the same group of diseases this way, they cross over without notice. He said, this is a real health concern, a life or death health concern for you. He said, don't even want you to get your tubes tied. I would not want you to have an elective surgery right now with your blood levels. He said, your husband needs to go and have a vasectomy. Well, all this was just shocking news, you know, because I had no idea that anything like that was going on. Because no one else had ever noticed or detected anything. I think it's kind of an unusual test that you would have to run to figure that out, that that's what I had. So, I say had, because there's more to the story. So, Ben had the surgery. He had a vasectomy. And I began to get better. Just gradually get better. Because I prayed. I said, Lord, you know I've got to be able to take care of these babies. So, the Lord healed me over time. I would go back every year to get my blood work done, and my blood levels would get a little bit better and a little bit better. And the doctor had told me, he said, you know, I've never seen a woman with your blood levels be able to have even 1 baby. He said, and you've had 4. And he was just shaking his head. He said, I have no explanation for this. And I was just sitting there in amazement. I was like, you know, all those times I was praying for God to give me a baby or babies, I had no idea what God was having to do to make that happen, what he was overcoming, and what miracle and miracles he was orchestrating in order to give me my children. So Ben had the vasectomy, and if I didn't come up pregnant 3 years after his vasectomy, 2 years after his vasectomy, because Joel was born 3 years after. And of course, the first thing that is of concern to us is the words of the doctor who said, it is a life or death matter of concern that you never have another baby, because you could bleed out. You could not survive it, or the baby survive it. So we knew that we had done, oh, by the way, evidently Ben was the first failed vasectomy that surgeon had ever done. And he wanted to go and redo the surgery, but Ben had a really hard time with that surgery. He probably wouldn't love me to tell this part. Sorry, honey. But he didn't want to redo it. But the surgeon suspected that Ben had double plumbing, like whatever set of tubes that they work on for a vasectomy, you know, which they separated it and put a metal clamp on, you know, it's not like, it just like a clamp came open. They were separated. So either Ben had double plumbing, which evidently is possible, or God performed some kind of miracle. And you know what's funny is the day that Ben had that surgery, I sat in the waiting room while he did that. They wouldn't let me go back there with him, even though it was done in a doctor's office. And I bawled my eyes out. And I was like, why am I crying? Why am I crying? It's not even sensible. We have 4 children and it's dangerous for me to have another baby, but why am I crying? It just felt so heavy and I didn't love it. I was not okay with it. I mean, I wasn't that concerned about Ben, you know, having to suffer through the procedure. I mean, I felt like he'd be okay in that regard. I was feeling grief over the fact that we would not have any more babies. And so we knew what the doctors had said, but I knew that we were just going to have to hold on to our faith in the Lord, that we had done everything we knew to do. We followed the doctor's advice. Ben got the vasectomy. We did what we were supposed to do, and we weren't trying to disregard good sense and wise decisions. God just had a plan that superseded medical science in many ways. But, you know, I was like 4 months pregnant before I even knew that I was pregnant with number 5. That's our Joel. Ben said, he says, honey, how long have you had that virus? Because I was just nauseated. I was so sick and everything. And I said, well, you know, it has been a lot of days. I don't know how long I've had this virus. And he said, are you pregnant? And I was like, no, there's no way I could be pregnant. But then in about 5 more minutes after that conversation, I burped and Ben said, you are pregnant. That's your pregnant burp. He said, you don't burp at any other time except when you're pregnant. I know that you're pregnant. I'm going right now to go get a pregnancy test. And this was like late in the evening. So he went and got it and he brought it back home and he said, take the test right now. And I said, you're supposed to take it first thing in the morning. I'm not going to take it right now because I know I'm not pregnant. He said, take the test right now. So I did. And sure enough, just as positive as could be. So I went to the doctor the next morning and they did an ultrasound and confirmed that I was pregnant, and we had a beautiful little heartbeat in there and everything was fine. Everything was good. But I still had the knowledge of what that specialist had told me, that how dangerous this would be. But I was going to stand on my faith. I was going to believe that God had a plan and that it was going to be okay. I had to just say it to myself that it was going to be okay. Well, that year I was teaching in our church school. I taught 2nd and 3rd grade. It's small school, so we combined grades. I was the 2nd and 3rd grade teacher. I was getting 4 young children ready for school, you know, taking them to school, teaching school all day while pregnant, while extremely morning sickness that was morning, noon, and night sickness, all kinds of sickness. So it was a hard time. But one evening, shortly after we found out that I would be, you know, having a baby, I was just getting, you know, I'd lay out the children's clothes like it was the fire department, you know, like just jump in your clothes, you know. I did so much prep because we had to get 4 children ready for school, and my teacher needs and all my things, get me ready, get the children ready, backpacks, lunches, snacks, clothing. I mean, I had it laid out down to the underwear, and I did this every night because we wouldn't make it in the mornings if I didn't. So I was just running, you know, everybody had gone to bed. Ben had gone to bed. The children were all in bed. It was pretty late at night, probably about like this. And I was juning around, busy. And suddenly I had a strong feeling in my heart that said, get your Bible. And I thought, okay. I mean, you know, I read my Bible, but I didn't feel, you know, as a daily thing or ever before had I ever felt something hit me like a thunderbolt that's like, get your Bible. I was like, okay. So I went and got my Bible, and I really believe that the Lord was just trying to get me to slow down and get my attention, because I didn't even have to open my Bible. I just sat down on the couch with my Bible, and the presence of the Lord came into my living room in such a strong, tangible way. I don't know how to describe it any other way. It was amazing. It It was peace and love washing over me, and the awareness that the creator of the universe was paying me a visit. I was getting a communication from the Lord. And I don't know if I heard this with my physical ears or if I heard it through my spirit, but I heard the words, "Do not worry about this baby. This baby will be born in beauty and in joy." Well, I wept for a good 20 minutes and then went straight and woke Ben up in the middle of the night. And I was trying to explain to him what had happened. And he was like, "Really? Really? The Lord told you?" And I said, "Yes, the Lord told me. It's going to be fun." And I was fine. And Joel was born in beauty and in joy. And he has been a joy to us all of his 19, almost 20 years. He's coming up on his 20th birthday. And that is the story of how I have babies, by the grace of God. My babies are a miracle. Every baby is a miracle. But God had to do some things. God had to do some tricky things, some unusual, miraculous events to give me my children. So I think this is why baby items, besides the fact that I love antiques, besides the fact that, you know, I'm all about the vintage and all about beautiful fabrics and clothing and linens. But this represents to me something timeless and precious about what a gift that a baby is. So I'm going to display this, even though I have no living idea who this precious woman is or was. I imagine she's gone to her reward at this point. And I just don't know. Like I say, I don't know who could let something like this go. But I feel like the steps of a person who gives their heart to the Lord, I feel like he orders our steps. Well, the Bible says he does. And he knew I would be in that thrift store at that time and see this beautiful thing hanging by the dishes. Maybe that's another God wink. You know, I'm not going to skip looking at dishes. I might skip clothing and I might skip the baby section, but I'm not going to skip looking at dishes. But that's where it was. And that's where I found it. And that's why I'm going to ever so much enjoy putting it up. Okay, y'all have listened a long time. Those of you who have hung in there to the bitter end. It's not a bitter end, this is a joyful end. Because I had planned actually to share this testimony. I've been wanting to share it for a while, but you know what? I think sometimes it's best when it's just spontaneous, that it just comes up. And, you know, finding the baby gown, I think baby items are, I love babies. My sister says, Lana says, "I don't know anybody that loves babies more than you do, Marla." And I said, "Well, I had 5 of my own." And I really do. I really do love babies, and I love my grandbabies. But I really pray that all of you are blessed, and that the Lord directs your steps, and that you have a higher hope than just what's on this earth. That you know what's next. And if you don't, message me. I'll let you in on all the ways that you can be sure and that you can know, because we can't put our hope in a world that's not going to be here forever. We have to put our hope in things higher. And God is good, and he loves us so much. Even if hard things happen to you, compared to eternity and compared to so many other things, it's, you know, it's all for the glory of God. God ministers to us and through us in our hard times. If I hadn't gone through hardship, I wouldn't have experienced the miracles. I wouldn't have seen the hand of God do something that man could not do. Only God could do. So it is for the glory of God. Well, I love you. I hope you have a great rest of the week. And thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Y'all, I really love the comments. Listen, don't shortchange me on the comments. If you think of something, even middle of the video, just pause the video and type me out a comment, ask me a question. I make it my business to read every comment and answer every question. I really do. I love it. I love the interaction. I feel like I'm growing a group of such good friends because, you know, you're only watching this video because you kind of like old junk like I do, and you probably love crafting, and you probably love thrifting, and, you know, birds of a feather flock together and kindred spirits find one another. So leave me a comment.